and 3.
Too late. We're going. We're going.
Well, okay. I only wish that clip was longer.
I can make a longer one, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll need to be longer whenever we actually do it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. I am Marshall, and that's Joseph. And
And that's
today,
Beetlejuice.
today we are talking about Beetlejuice, as Joseph's representing, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah. These movies had nothing to do with one another. I mean,
I can find a common thread.
oh, really?
hmm I think they are both probably underrated.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Beetlejuice is so underrated. I mean, it's just really old, but
That's true.
I think it's still a beloved kind of. I don't know if it was even a cult classic. I don't know. I mean, it's so old. I don't know how it was received in 1988. You
hmm
know, but absolutely, still. I mean, it's weird how well it still works.
It's super crazy how
You know,
not irrelevant that movie is.
because it's like, you know, Michael Keaton moved on to be just a superstar, right?
hmm
And I saw a thing where he said this is his favorite movie of his that he's ever had.
I think I read that too.
And then yeah, on the Amazon thing, it was showing like little
That's what it
nuggets,
was.
and
Yeah.
that was one of them I caught was Michael Keaton says this is his favorite movie of his. Obviously, not his favorite movie of all time, but and then uh, Gina Davis, she had a massive career, and I mean, was this before Thelma and Louise? You think?
Oh, I don't know. Let's find out.
And then, of course, we all know how giant
Baldwin.
Baldwin turned out.
hmm
Uh,
Even the mom had the mom from Home Alone.
the mom from Home Alone, yeah, she's had a long, career of, some pretty decent co-star
Yeah.
roles. And, the dad was Ferris Bueller's principal. I don't know if you remember that. And then, of course,
hmm
Winona Ryder. God, I mean, especially that was that was right in the middle of her heyday, or maybe even the beginning of her heyday. And she made, you know,
Right.
Winona was huge for a long time.
Yep. So this was after The Fly, but before Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, I guess The Fly was probably her breakthrough role, and then this one was huge. And then, of course, Thelma and Louise. That kind of Thelma and Louise might have been kind of her pinnacle, other than some of the more actiony stuff that she did later on. Didn't she do some like late '90s action roles or something?
Kind of. I mean, she did The Long Kiss Goodnight, which apparently was I enjoyed that movie, but apparently it was a bomb in the box office.
Yeah,
And then that was
I think it
kind
was
of
one of those that was better received on video than it they just for whatever reason marketing wise they couldn't get people to the theater the way they thought they would.
right. Yeah, I would say she definitely peaked. She did Thelma and Louise and then A League of Their Own.
She was in a League of Their Own. Oh, that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of League of Gentlemen.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. We even had the clip off of that one.
hmm
And this, yeah, and that was another one where she was. Hang on, I'm gonna get my baseball movies mixed up. Susan Sarandon wasn't in that one.
I don't think so.
She was in the baseball movie with Kevin Costner and
Oh, you're
Tim,
the Field
Tim
of Dreams.
Robbins.
Field of
Yeah,
Dreams.
no, 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 no.
Was that Dennis Quaid?
No, you had the right guy. Field of Dreams. But no, remember there was the
The Rookie, or the one? Is that the one where he's the pitcher, or was that Dennis
yeah.
Quaid?
He's trying to help the young Wild Thing pitcher and for this weird minor league team and like God knows where. Anyways, way off track.
There's a tangent.
Yeah, keep following it down the hill. That's it's not abnormal for us. All right. So, had you seen this movie before?
Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Dude, I watched the crap out of it with my sister when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it 1,000 times myself, but
Yeah, we watched it way too much.
yeah, it was fun to watch though with this in mind. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
I it, these days because I have seen it so many times, the only time I really watch it is like maybe to share it with my 8-year-old kid. Be like, you got to watch this. You can
right, 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 right.
honestly,
I would never, unfortunately, it's not something I would be like, boom, I'm gonna watch me some Beetlejuice
no, it's
out
more of
of
like
out of
it's more
nowhere.
like like A Knight's Tale, where if it happens to be on, I'm not going to pass it, right? I'll let it play, but I'm not going to go search it out either. But searching it out and then trying to watch it so that you can speak intelligently about it, you have to watch. It's one thing I've learned over the last couple of months of us doing this is it's you have to watch movies a little bit differently. It's almost good if you leave yourself enough time to watch them twice. Like
Hmm.
watch one once the way you would watch a normal movie, which is just I'm ingesting it, I'm watching, I'm listening to the story, and then almost like you should watch it the second time with that critical eye and take those notes because but fortunately, I've seen this one enough times I could actually take some mental notes. But man, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it was way more fun than I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, we have a comment, and you'll notice I added, you might be able to see it at the bottom right.
I see a bit of it through on your screen, but it's pretty minuscule. So
Gotcha.
I'll
Pride,
have to rely on you to read those for now.
Pridox asked what we're doing. We are talking about Beetlejuice right now, the movie, and then a little bit later on, we're going to transition into Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. We watched it this week, and we just like talking about movies with each other. So that's what we're doing. Have you?
I love that. What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
See
that's
two weirdos on a screen with a bunch of clips.
yeah. We used to work together, and now we work in different states, and so check that out. He's following us now. That's
Oh,
so cool. Well, thanks, Fridox. And so we kind of
I
use
don't know if
this.
I'm more excited that we have a follower or that we have, or just what happens whenever someone clicks to follow. That's awesome.
Pridox, I got that set up today.
That's so cool. Well,
uh,
product, hang in there. We don't do these very efficiently or fast, but if you hang on, the ride might be worthwhile. And if not, we won't be offended if you unfollow.
oh, I'll be a little offended,
We're
but
not that.
but yeah, feel free to comment and talk with us about the movies or ask questions if you haven't seen it. We just kind of like talking movies, and so since we can't do it in person with each other, we just do it. Okay, he says he's gonna be right back. All right, man.
So Tim Burton made a little film in 1988 that I would honestly say, other than the claymation stuff that they weaved in throughout, I think it's unlike any other Tim Burton movie I've ever seen. The only thing I think is even close is maybe like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, I agree. I had that thought when I was watching it. I was like, I was like, Tim Burton doesn't even make movies like this anymore.
Exactly, exactly. And this
So,
may have been real early when he was still cutting his teeth and before he really had made a name for himself and everybody wanted to work with him.
oh yeah,
Uh, this is before Johnny Depp became kind of his go-to star. And but man, I just love how out there they let like Michael Keaton's always been. He's always every movie he's ever done. Even I think one of the more reserved movies that he did early on in his career was Batman because they were like, you got to be cool, you got to be really really cool because this character is not the wild and out there guy. And holy crap, how did we get 2 followers in one night?
it says it's.
Love it.
He said that's a gift from Pridox. I think you might have followed us
Oh,
from. another account or a friend or something. So that's awesome.
Take it. Um, that's how we get sponsorships.
Every step counts. Michael Keaton's going to be calling into our show.
Exactly. But he always had like kind of that wild. He's always been a little bit of Jack Nicholson to me. You know what I mean? And with just the the wild looks and the getting really excited,
Mhm.
characters. And so I mean, it really fit this one. And I'm sure the director's just like, just lay it out there. We've got lots of tape, so just keep going and we'll edit out what's trash.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it was about this movie, but I feel like it's a side of Michael Keaton to an extreme that you don't ever get to see in any other movie.
Hmm.
Like Jack Nicholson gets to be kind of Jack Nicholson in a lot of movies.
Hmm. That's
But I
true.
feel like this was the first time Michael Keaton just got to really let loose.
Yeah.
And I also felt like it fit the character. So that's one thing I really liked about it
Yeah.
was I feel like especially these days if a movie was made like this, like you just people assume sophistication, whereas you could
Mm.
argue that this guy, he's been dead for 1,000 years and he's
Yeah.
got literally nothing to lose.
Right.
And so, like, of course he's going to be a sleazy pervert who doesn't care, interrupts,
Yeah.
talks to himself because he's just crazy. He's gone crazy.
Yeah. It's opposite. Like it's funny you say that because like all the vampire movies, right? The vampire that's been alive for 2,000 years because he's immortal is always sophisticated, well educated, speaks well. This guy's just a nut. He's like he's he must have he was whatever trailer trash was 2,000 years ago when he died, and he's
Right.
just been riding it out.
Wow. Well, Monkey Thug, who is a +3 following of Pridox. Pridox, are you just like the follower gifter or something?
I love it.
I love it too. Thank you so
Nothing else. I
much.
just like the zombie running across the screen with
Yeah,
the
that's the
with
default, man.
the sound.
That's the default from the service.
That's hilarious.
It's cute though, because they're following us, so it's like the
Yeah,
zombie.
no, I get it. I get it.
Okay,
It
okay.
didn't take a lot of reading into there, Marshall.
It took me a while to get it.
So I doubt there's many people that would watch us that have not seen Beetlejuice at some point. So, and again, we're going to go over two movies tonight. We'll try to keep this thing about an hour. And depending on how many tangents we go off on, which we've already been down one, so we'll just see where it goes. But so tell me what you thought. Tell me, I mean, just the basic setup. I remember the first thing you told me online was that it's it's kind of sad that Baldwin died in such a kind of a pussy way, but and I love it. They don't mess around about it. They they get right to the story of
Them being dead.
yeah, the cute couple. You kind of fall in love with them. They're just spending their holiday together. Hey, drive me into town. The sleepy little, and they do a really good job of portraying the sleepy little town because, like, the I really love the barber slash, I assume, hardware store owner who just sits up, mumbles to himself, and he's having conversations with himself. And Baldwin gets, some of his stuff's already sitting there. They've already got it sitting out, waiting for him to pick it up. And comes by, grabs his new brush, does the cash register himself. I mean, he's just like that trusting, and homeboy's still out there mumbling about cutting some hippie's hair whenever Baldwin leaves. And then that fucking dog.
Yeah,
That's funny.
the dog I was like, they swerve to avoid this dog,
Yeah, that's
and then the dog ends them
yeah,
as they're teetering on the edge. They get ended, and
not a
Bald,
very strong ending either, because like that bridge wasn't that high up and that creek wasn't that deep, but you're just supposed to be like, all right. I mean, who knows? People die in weird ways, but obviously dead. And they get to and then they get to see the sandworms like right away, in minute 10, or something. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
which is just out of nowhere. There's a lot of
Totally.
nuance. There's a lot of nuance to the movie that I never picked up as a kid. Like Beetlejuice actually says where they go, where the sandworms are.
Saturn, yeah.
Oh, you've been to Saturn? I hate those
I
sandworms.
miss Saturn. Sandworms. Hate them.
There we go. It was like
He's
I
so
was like Saturn. What? Why is it
like,
Saturn? Like what is going on?
what's Saturn got to do with it?
And the sad thing is like, this predates the internet. So I tried to like go on and see if like, people had really dived into the lore of Beetlejuice and how the world, the ghost world outside your house is Saturn but of course there's, none of that happened in this movie, even though I feel like if it came out today, it would, people would have all their theories online and it would
Yeah.
have, people have analyzed it who've watched it 1,000 times.
I think some of my favorite parts are the where the public service people, the caseworkers, and the whole office set up there, and some of the personalities that are in the lobby, and some of the personalities that you'd have to deal with, like the football team that is too dumb to figure out that they died and that she's not their coach. And I love that they tease you with it. Otho later tells you the joke about what happens if you commit suicide. You end up being like a social worker, right?
And I never caught on to that as a child when I watched it when I
It,
was younger either, that all the people there had committed suicide.
yeah, they throw it right in your face, and the girl's like, "I'd have known about this, I wouldn't have, had my little accident." And then,
They all
of course,
chuckle.
Juno obviously cut her own throat because she's like, there's smoke coming out of it when she's talking, which is a nice. I mean, the effects and the subtleties that they were able to do. Even it's funny that they were able to have all these subtleties with such a in your face thing. You know what I mean? In the
Right.
middle of kind of just like slapping you with black light colors and crooked walls and all this stuff. There's also a little sprinkling of you know some subtleties in there, which you can really appreciate, especially as it ages.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what was great about it. Like you're saying, you're just getting, especially when you're younger, but even the first time you watch it, this whole world is just getting thrown at you.
Yeah,
And so you don't pick up on that, but yeah, like literally everyone they run into that works at the place has committed suicide. You got the guy who obviously like threw himself in front of a bus and
yeah,
he's been run over and he's flattened. And then later on, you got the guy who hung himself.
yeah, and he's just kind of spinning around, dropping on people. It's like I love how they I love how they modify their workplace environment to cater to each person's death so that they can still be productive, right?
Yeah.
And there's the creepy guy in the hallway that explains the lost souls thing, which was necessary. It wasn't very entertaining, and it felt like it was kind of awkwardly placed there. But later on, whenever Otho's trying to do that, he's kind of forcing them, to
Expose
bend to
themselves.
will.
And, yeah.
He loses control of it. He's like, "Oh crap!" And then because that guy teed you up for that, you're like, "Oh no! If they stay in that state much longer, they're going to become exercised, and then they're in the
Right.
lost souls." And
There's a consequence to it.
right, and you just and but they do a nice job again of we're going to inform you what happens to those people. So then, when there's only 10 minutes left in the movie and they're going through that, you've at least got the data so that you can be concerned. Because otherwise you just be like, they're dead. I mean, how torturous could it be? And then you're like, oh no.
Hmm.
And then, strangely enough, Beetlejuice saves the day, which he's the uh, anti-hero to some extent in that sense, right?
That that marriage scene is
So awesome.
fantastic.
It's so well done.
It is so fantastic. Like, I forget what her name in the movie is, but Winona Ryder, uh,
Lydia.
Lydia, all of a sudden appears with this red wedding dress, and she gets like floats over to him. Yeah, he like turns around, he like does his hair a little bit. He's like, so let's see, they're saved, and
Going through his checklist,
we
he's
got
like,
that, we got
"Looks
that.
okay. The Maitlands have been taken care of.
All right, here we go.
Get started."
And then he does. I love like the just craziness little monologue that he does. Like the guy's like,
Hmm.
do you accept?" And he like goes to this like, I don't know, I always said I was gonna do it once and that would be it.
Yeah. Same thing. He gives you that. He gives you another tiny little monologue, doing the same little kind of a dance whenever he's trying to find the ring, and he's,
Oh yeah.
it's so cartoony that he's pulling out all this stuff. There's rats and snakes and stuff falling out, and then he finally gets the finger with the ring on. He's like, "Baby, I swear, she meant nothing to me." It's like, Jesus. But again, like you said, I don't think that character can be created today. I think if they redid this movie, I mean, think about like all the Batman movies, right?
Hmm.
There were Tim Burton did some Batman movies. They were absolutely not my favorite Batman movies ever. I actually didn't like any of the Tim Burton Batman movies except for the one with Michael Keaton and Jack. Um, but where was I going with that? Oh, I mean, so they've gotten dark and gritty, and they've been beautiful because of that, right? I mean, we just talked about Joker last week and how dark that is, and how it's so much different than the cartoony, goofy shit that Batman really kind of started out as. And it's gritty and unnerving, and Heath Ledger's version of Joker and all the Christopher Nolan ones were dark and gritty and really entertaining. And I'm afraid that if they tried to redo Beetlejuice, that's what would happen, right? It would
Yeah,
be it would
really
be dark and gritty, and there'd be some kind of backstory about how he became this guy, and he'd be some kind of a people hunter or something. It would not have that storybook feel to it. You know,
kind
you
of
know what I
just
mean?
like a, yeah, like a comedy of, man, I know the crazy people. I've met people like him, and you're just like,
Yeah,
ooh.
it's to me, it's got that. I'll tell you a movie that reminds me of a little bit, in the sense of, they took something that could have been really done seriously, but it was so funny, yet they could carry on the film, was like Ghostbusters, right? Dealt with dealt with some paranormal stuff and whatnot, but it was just so funny and silly, but it kept with the story. It wasn't silly for no reason.
Right.
Was
The
it,
like those were the characters.
right?
The ghosts were serious, but like funny situations and interactions
Yeah,
just kind of came from it. Um, yeah, it wasn't. It's not slapstick. It's
right.
just a comedy of kind of the situation
Hmm.
and the people involved. And yeah, like you, it's funny you mentioned that. If they made one today, you just you wouldn't have the same character
No,
at all. But you were talking about that what we talked about previously. I would think a Beetlejuice prequel sounds pretty fun, like the story of Beetlejuice.
yeah. I mean, I think the idea of it sounds really fun, right? It would
Right.
almost, but it would have to be, like, who could play that, right?
Well, I
And
mean, you'd want it to be all the same characters, and you just can't do it. I don't,
no,
you couldn't do it justice today. And then back in the day, everyone made sequels instead of prequels.
right?
Like I saw that in like the late 90s there was talks of a sequel to Beetlejuice where
Mm.
it was basically like, kid you not, the motivation was Beetlejuice goes tropical,
Oh god,
right? That's like that's what we were subjected to back in the day, guys.
yeah. There was some pretty bad sequels in the
Excuse me.
'90s, and they were. You look at them now, and you're like, that's a total money grab. Oh my gosh,
Like it's not
Beetlejuice goes to the tropics. That
it's
was
not even surprising to
It
us.
would have been the best movie ever.
When you live through that era, that was the next step was Beetlejuice
Oh
going
yeah.
tropical.
I mean, look what they did. Look what they did to Predator.
Yeah. All the good movies, Predator, Ghostbusters, like
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
fell really flat. But it would have been a lot of fun, I think, if you had done a backstory of Beetlejuice, like as the assistant to whatever the
Juno.
late Juno,
Yeah.
and
How it goes bad.
deciding to go on his own.
Yeah. You could see him working in the you could see him working in the social services, like or have you seen do you have HBO?
No.
They're doing a series right now. It's called Perry Mason, and it's about they're basically kind of doing a gritty backstory Perry Mason thing, right? And I never watched Perry Mason. That was way, way before my time,
My
but I know who
dad,
he is.
yeah, my dad watched a lot of Perry Mason. I'm going to interrupt you real quick though.
Please.
Pridox has a tangent for us.
Oh, I love him.
So
I mean,
he said he loves the Christian Bale acting in the Batman Begins movie, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, all legendary. He says that he knows they're not the same movie, but those are his opinion that he liked those movies a lot. And we have talked a lot about old Christopher Nolan
oh man,
and the Christian Bale Batman movies, and especially Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker. We've talked a lot about that, and
no doubt.
we also think that they are great movies,
I peed in it.
which has led to our soundboard, which we have up adjacent to us with Bane Cat.
Do you feel in charge?
That is the genesis of that
Oh,
soundbite.
yes! I was wondering what would break first.
Armory.
Which, by the way, Paradox, if you feel like it, I highly recommend going to ipdanet.com here and playing with our soundboard.
Yeah, it's free to any of our subscribers to go play with at will. So, and entertain your friends. I'll give you one of my favorites.
She like it the way you dictate.
That's a
Not
OG.
safe for work. Yeah, that's old Fat Jonah. Yes, thank you for the tangent. But yeah, so we no, 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 so please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that I didn't like how dark Christopher Nolan's movies had gotten. Those are my favorite Batmans by far. They're fantastic. They've just gotten better, and then of course, this most recent, which absolutely not Christopher Nolan, but the most recent Joker movie. I love the dark stuff behind that. What we were saying was that being how movies are made today, when they kind of go back and say, "Hey, we're going to dive deeper into this character." Usually they go a little dark. And what we're saying is, if they made this movie today or tried to do a remake of this movie today, there's a good chance it would kind of go that direction. And although it was perfect for Batman, right? It wouldn't work for Beetlejuice because it's Beetlejuice. It's ridiculous. It's a cartoon.
Right.
And which is, I mean, that's why the director was perfect and the actor was perfect. And we were talking earlier, Marshall and I, about like Marshall, just kind of recap where these people's careers went since this movie.
Well, Gina Davis, this was on her rise up, and then she peaked not too far after this, and then went down. Obviously, Alec Baldwin is super young in this movie, and he went on to have his Alec Baldwin career. We got the mom from Home Alone who's been in and out of stuff. We got
Mm-hmm.
the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is Winona Ryder's dad. We got Winona Ryder. It's like that's one of the fun things about the movies from the 80s is sometimes you go back and watch it and you're like, I know every single person
Yeah, you're like,
cast in this movie.
that guy ended up doing this, and this guy ended up doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's really fun. And of course, this was in. I feel like Keaton has had basically like two careers. I think this was right in the middle of his '80s career, right? His
Hmm.
'80s '90s career. and then he kind of disappeared for a while, and then he came back, in the 2000s and started, hitting it again. He started doing much more, serious roles, but he's, man, I can't imagine what his IMDb looks like. He's just got to have the list just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff, but he was in the recent Spider-Man movie. He did good there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the villain in not the most recent Spider-Man movie, but I guess third recent.
Yeah, Spider-Man lost me a long time ago. I'm not gonna lie. I think the last Spider-Man movie that I actually watched, my son showed me one that was a cartoon version that was done relatively recently that was really good. But
yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man with
that
Miles
was really
Morales.
well. That one was really well done. But the ones before that were, man, I haven't really watched the one since. God, what was that really skinny kid's name? Oh, never mind.
Oh, Andrew Garfield. I know which one you're talking about.
No, even before that.
Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, that was probably my last real one. And then they did the second one with the Green Goblin guy, and I was like, I'm out. I'm over. No more Spider-Man. He's not my guy.
The recent ones with Tom Holland are worth watching, but I wouldn't force them on you.
Yeah, you'll have to put them on the list to get me to watch them. Most likely, it'll have to, like, I'll watch them out of homework alone. Hang on just a second. Don't move the screen.
You shall not pass!
Prydox was saying that he'd seen a trailer concept, so maybe a fan trailer, or maybe there were talks of old Robert Pattinson as Batman.
I've heard that kicked around. I know it can't be worse than Ben, right?
I mean, it could.
Well, I guess. That's just, I don't know. I've never, some people just don't play good superheroes. Didn't he play like a blind superhero one time?
Yeah, he was Daredevil.
Yeah. Was that worse? Which was worse, Daredevil or Green Hornet, or the Green whatever he was?
Was he the Green?
No, but I'm saying which one was worse, right?
The Green Lantern or Daredevil?
Green Lantern. That's what I'm thinking of.
With or Daredevil?
Yeah, both pretty bad.
So they were.
And then one of them went on to have a very successful career as a superhero, right?
Right.
You're not following me very well.
Yeah, Prydox is trying to send me a link to check out the trailer, and I've stopped links. Yeah, I've stopped links from coming in, so now I have to refigure out how to like undo that.
What had happened?
Which I don't know if I can. You might have to, because he wanted us to watch it. Maybe I'll just Google it.
So no, where I was going with that was like, so Ben Affleck did Daredevil, terrible, right? Oh shit!
This is more than a fan trailer. This looks like
this is a real thing.
Teaser trailer concept.
See what happens.
Gotham's gotten worse, man. Way fucking worse.
His parents were murdered in that alley.
Poor kid watched the whole thing happen in front of him. What do you suppose something like this does to a kid?
It's amazing to meet you.
Bruce Wayne. Batman is Bruce Wayne.
It will be this.
You have extraordinary gifts, like something out of a comic book. You are a protector.
Makes me feel free in a way I've never known.
So I'll admit it was a pretty good trailer. I still don't know if Robert Pattinson can pull it off, but I feel like it goes to exactly what we were saying though, where they're just trying to go darker and darker and grittier.
Well, I just don't think they have much of a choice, right? If you're going to keep going down, if you're going to keep going down that path, right?
Right, like
If
after the last Joker movie.
or after the Christopher Nolan ones, it's like if you're going to go back and you want to take your swing at it, I mean, it's not just Batman. 007 was the same way. And as soon as once Daniel Craig's made his last run, um, then you'll have the same thing. They're not going to be able to go back to campy 007. You're not going to be able to go back to campy Batman. Not whenever you've dug that hole this deep. You're not going to go back and do a campy Hannibal movie, right? It's like once you
Yeah,
kind of
because it's just
dug
be
into
taken
these dark
as a
personas,
joke.
it's like, oh yeah, you'd be laughed off laughed off the screen. So, but I do find it very interesting that there are certain characters. I mean, think how many different iterations of Batman have there been? On screen, on the big screen,
Mm.
and they're just going to keep. I mean, obviously, they know that we love those characters that they put together, and we'll keep feeding at that teat
Yeah,
if they keep
I think I count
cool stuff.
six right now. It's like Superman. They'll keep
Yeah,
making Superman movies.
and I think they're other than the big, Marvel had its giant push over the last decade or so, right? But beyond that, I mean, I think the Batman movies have far surpassed Superman or Spider-Man as far as people viewing them and rewatching them and really diving deep into them. But
Yeah, but I think a big part of that you could argue is Christopher Nolan's
yeah,
take on it over the character.
for sure,
Like if you had the Christopher Nolan trilogy of pretty much any superhero, you're probably like a lot more
right,
bought in.
right. So, did you have any other major notes from Beetlejuice?
If you haven't seen Beetlejuice, you should definitely go watch it. It is enjoyable. It holds up way more than I thought it would.
Way
It does
more.
it doesn't seem there's nothing in it that really seems irrelevant to today, like where you're like, oh man, that place is that in the 80s for sure in terms of like
Right.
something they do or anything like that. The only thing you could argue is probably just the fact that, they use claymation, which is just a Tim Burton staple, especially at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
But it didn't even bother me. It was just fun to see it
Oh,
again.
and again, I think if it was if they tried to use a bunch of CG stuff, and they had the capabilities in 1988 to do a lot of that with computer graphics, I just don't think it would have been um, the movie's campy. It's kind of hokey and fun, and that's what makes it really fun. And it wouldn't have made and so the claymation really fits with that. And like you said, that was definitely Tim Burton's style at the time. This was same time as Nightmare Before Christmas and some of the other stuff that he was doing a lot of heavy claymation stuff. And yeah,
Right.
man, it's fun.
Oh, I do have a few tidbits actually I just thought of. So there's a Easter egg in the movie where when old Michael Keaton pops up to do the circus hammer,
Yeah,
and he's got the little like
yeah,
merry-go-round on his head. It's
yeah.
got the top of the merry-go-round has Jack Skellington's head on it,
No, it
and
doesn't.
this was before Nightmare Before Christmas.
Get out of here. Show me that. I did not. I never caught that,
And
which is crazy.
I did notice that this time when it was popping up that
Which is crazy because I'm a big my son is a Nightmare Before Christmas nut.
let's see if that gets it. Oh, it's not. There it is. This is the top of it right here. So this is as he's rising up out of the table.
Ah! So he introduced Jack before he really introduced Jack. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, Tim's sly like that,
Man,
man.
look at this hat.
Had to go, man. Yeah, and it lit up and it was functional and it was spinning. Like somebody spent some time putting that stupid thing together and strapping it onto Keaton's head, you know?
Right. Pridox is saying that he's excited about Venom 2. I don't know if you saw Venom.
I did not. I mean, and which is too bad because I'm a big Tom Hardy fan.
Yeah.
And so I need to watch that.
I would say it was a lot better than the trailer for it.
Really?
Yeah, it was really fun and really funny.
Okay.
And they did set it up for a sequel, so I definitely would go see the sequel.
There you go.
Paradox, I think that's a fun one. So I said that, and then I wanted to say apparently the original script for Beetlejuice was actually a lot darker than what we ended up with.
Really?
Where apparently Beetlejuice was supposed to be not just pervy, but like murder, like has a lot of murders in the movie,
Yeah.
and instead of pervy, creepy, he's like straight up rapey
Oh
to
yeah.
Winona Ryder. Yeah, and then apparently, they gave it to Tim Burton. He changed up a lot of that, which
Sure.
I think made it fun and made it to where you could see it as a kid.
Yeah, because I think otherwise it becomes kind of a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of movie. You know,
Mhm.
it becomes more of a horror movie than just kind of a. I mean, I don't even know like, other than calling it a comedy. I don't know what you call it. You know?
Right. There's a lot of movies that, especially around that time, that seemed to be made that were like comedies disguised as horror movies or something like
Yeah,
that.
most definitely. So yeah,
Anyway,
this one's fun. I would definitely go back and watch it again. I'm sure I will. I've seen it 1,000 times. I'll probably see it another 1,000 times. I mean, having an 8-year-old son makes a good excuse for, hey, let's sit down and watch Beetlejuice on a Saturday night. You know?
yeah, I need to text my sister, but since I have a twin sister, we're into the same stuff at the same time. We watch
Yeah,
so much, and so I need to text her and tell her she needs to watch it again because
yeah,
it's
it's definitely
fun.
worth. Again, to me, it lives right there with like Shawshank Redemption or A Knight's Tale. It's like or The Green Mile, for instance, if it comes on, or one of my guilty pleasure, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, those my Clint Eastwood westerns, that comes on, I'm gonna stop and fold laundry or do something to keep myself busy for an hour and a half so I can watch some Tim Burton magic.
Right.
So that will take us on to uh,
Kiss Kiss
I
Bang
love these
Bang.
double feathers. They're kind of fun. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I still believe is what resurrected Robert Downey Jr.'s career, because this happened before Iron Man,
Oh
but
yeah, this definitely
after,
happened before.
before Iron Man, but after it was post rehab,
Right.
post mini rehab. It's so funny because Robert Downey Jr. was Charlie Sheen for a long time, and Charlie Sheen never escaped being Charlie Sheen, and somehow RDJ came on the other side, and which is great for all of us because
Because
uh,
he's so great. He's so talented. He's fantastic.
yeah, he's not a serious actor by any means, but he can play a serious role from time to time. Like I noticed on Zodiac, there he played a pretty serious guy on Zodiac, but he's fun.
Hmm.
He's just fun on screen, and he seems to bounce off of his co-stars really well.
Right,
He works.
man. I didn't realize that was only 3 years before Iron Man.
Yeah,
That's
but if you
crazy.
look, if you look at his IMDb before that, though, I mean, it's been a long time since he did anything serious. Like nobody
Yeah.
took him serious for a dozen years before that movie. And then all of a sudden, people are like, maybe he's got some chops. And he started getting some chances at some real roles. And then, of course, once he landed Iron Man, history wrote itself, and he can basically take any script he wants at this point.
Right. So
Um,
Pridox asked if we've seen Code 8.
no,
I haven't either.
Look it up.
Do we need to add that one to our list, products?
Well, I don't know. I think we need to look it up before we
I
say
was
it.
asking products.
Oh, my
I
bad.
know you don't know. Oh, I totally put in the wrong thing.
Did you type in Pride Dog?
I did. You got products on the brain. Is that it from 2019?
Well, give me some trailer action, man. Why not?
Why not?
We're not on a time crunch by any means.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night. I ain't got shit.
All we gotta do is talk about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, that's
Everyone line up. Jinx to the sky.
I'm actually surprised I haven't seen this trailer before.
right.
Oh, did you say he farted on him? That was a flaming fart.
I need electric. I'm an electric.
I'm wondering why a guy like you got in the van. We need to know who we're working with.
My mom's sick. I need money.
Okay. See what you can do.
How good is that electric?
He's strong. He doesn't know how strong yet. Light it. I need time to work him. How do you want to live in this life? Let's go. Hide our powers. Everybody on the ground. If you see something that you want,
I'm gonna stop it there. I'm down. That looks
Yeah.
like a fun movie.
What was that one that
Sometimes I get scared trailers are gonna reveal too much.
right? My brain farts a lot lately. What was the one that the Fresh Prince was the superhero?
Are you talking about Hancock,
Hancock.
where he's like the drunk superhero?
Yeah, he's like that was, you talk about underrated. I think that movie was underrated. I mean, not to mention the fact that Charlize Theron's in that movie as a superhero.
There, the truth comes out.
Well, I mean, I've got Charlize, and you've got
Michael.
Michael.
I'll
Who still
say
hasn't made it onto the soundboard. It kind of pisses me off.
I'll say Michelle Monaghan really does it for me.
Oh yeah, she's like that perfect girl next door. She's the 2000s version of Sandra Bullock. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I really like Hancock because it was the first time that that I could recall that we saw a superhero, somebody that had all these wonderful powers, but they were a little bit, they weren't perfect.
Right.
Superman was always perfect. Batman, even though you could argue he's not really truly a superhero because he didn't have a superpower. He was perfect. He was above the law. He was, until they
Right.
started
Any superhero you had in a movie was always
they're idealistic,
morally perfect.
Yes. And then you've got this guy that's like, I didn't ask for this shit. I don't like it. I don't want it. I'm just good at it.
Right.
And I always thought that was kind of an underrated film, but we can save that for another time. Maybe that one might be a good one to do at the same time as this
Code 8.
Code 8, just because I'm not saying they look like they're coming from the same direction, but there's something about society.
Superhero movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and not being along that normal superhero grain.
Right.
Anyway, kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Set it up, my friend.
So, Pridoc, since you're the only one watching anyway, I don't know if you've seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, so I'm going to give you a real short version here because if you haven't, you absolutely should watch it. But you got Robert Downey Jr., who's a petty thief, and he stumbles into an audition for a movie and kills the
Literally.
role. and does really well in the audition because it mimics his real life situation he just got in from. So he was able to actually just use his real emotions. He gets flown out to LA where he's supposed to hang out with Val Kilmer, who's a private detective, to get lessons on how to be a private detective so that he could be a private detective in a movie coming up.
We just call him Gay Perry.
And Val Kilmer is called Gay Perry because he's gay in the movie, which is hilarious the way this whole movie's done, especially with Val Kilmer's career. It's so great. And then they are on a stakeout.
I love what a dick Val
Oh.
plays the whole movie. He is a sarcastic prick from beginning to end, and I love it because it fits the personality that we realize after many years of being Val Kilmer fans that he really is kind of a sarcastic prick.
Yeah, so Prydox apparently has not seen it. He's asking us so he wants to watch the trailer, which I am down for because I don't think I've seen the trailer for
I don't
this
know if I've
movie.
ever seen the trailer. I don't even remember how I stumbled upon this movie because this movie was I don't even remember this thing ever being in theaters.
I remember how I stumbled on this one, so I'll share that after the trailer here.
Let's go. Hurry up. It's not my fault. Just shut up and run.
Hold it right there.
Harry was a small-time crook.
Oh, boy.
Till he opened the door.
Oh, no, we're not ready for your audition.
Just take him. He's ready. You ready, right?
To a really big break.
Quit acting like the good guy. You got your partner killed. You killed him.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Old school method. Get me Gay Perry on the phone.
But he'll need a real cop.
Detective lessons tomorrow for your acting.
Oh, you're the consultant.
If he wants to act the part.
You must be
Gay Perry?
still gay?
Me? No. I just like the name so much, I can't get rid of it.
So what do you do?
I'm a private detective. She thinks I'm a detective.
Of all the idiot things to do.
My sister was
Honey,
murdered. Are you gonna help me?
I gotta check my schedule.
Can you help me, Harry? Because you're not gonna help me find somebody else.
So sometimes I have other. My caseload is pretty.
Thank you.
From Shane Black, the creator of Lethal Weapon.
Do not play detective, moron. Go home before the bad guys do something bad to you.
I see that.
2 corpses in 3 hours. I mean, that's unusual, right?
Yes.
Comes a mystery.
It's a frame up. First things first. Do you have the corpse?
I got rid of it.
You threw it away.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
A picture of me?
No. The definition of the word idiot.
That starts with a kiss.
Why'd you lie to me?
It was an excuse to
Which
stay around you, so anything.
Did I just cut off your finger?
Yeah. Ford, pick it up. Pick it up.
And ends with a bang.
Where is the girl? You put a live round in that gun.
Oh, yeah, there was like an 8% chance.
Who taught you math?
Yeah, you should definitely watch it, Prydox. He said he likes the trailer, so dude, you need to. It's so worth watching.
So here's you don't have a history with watching We Are Not Professionals, which obviously the title fits. Usually we review older movies so that we're not giving away the plot. So we're gonna touch this one very gently and maybe tell you why you should watch it without going into every detail of the whole movie and therefore
Ruining it for you.
Yeah, ruining it to where you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. But so that in mind, go get them, Big D.
So I want to say that this movie's got so many wonderful one-liners in it where you just want to quote it after the movie.
Yes.
Like it's just filled with them, and they're so like the banter is hilarious. It feels super sarcastic. It feels relatively real. Like there's misunderstandings. You know, it's not like perfect. People always understand each other perfectly in a movie. There's like, what did you say? Did you say this? And it's a really ridiculous thing. And then like Val Kilmer just continues with it. Like Robert Downey Jr. is like, did you say talking monkey? And he's like, yeah, a talking monkey.
Yeah,
he's from the future.
Monkey, you idiot. No, one of the things you got to remember too is, so is it Monaghan? That's how you say it, Michelle Monaghan. Like when this movie came out, she was nobody, and she was trying to work her way up, and she's working with 2 dudes that are really just trying to do whatever they can to kickstart their career. Because I promise you, RDJ and Val Kilmer at the moment were not big time movie stars, you know. And so
Val Kilmer was already past his prime.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're just they're trying to relive that glory. I mean, RDJ had his big movies too, and ruined his career to a certain extent. But they were both kind of searching for that rebirth, and so the banter back and forth between those two idiots, as well as Michelle, she held her own with those guys as well, and it was just there's so much nuance and so much funny in the conversations that these people have that anything that's missing in scenes or scenery or maybe depth of story is more than covered up for by just how these people kind of sparkle on screen together.
Right, for sure. RDJ, he plays kind of the bumbling fool. So great.
He loses a finger.
He loses a finger, which you see in the trailer. He's up at Michelle's door and he's got his hand slightly in the doorway, and she slams the door in his face, and then she opens it up. Did I get your finger? Yeah.
Which is perfect, because I mean, how many times have you seen the door slammed in somebody's face or somebody's hand or on somebody's foot? They're fine, you know. These guys, the writers, were like, no, think about it. If somebody slammed a hotel door on your head, there's a chance you might lose a damn finger. And so they rolled with it. And that finger stays part of the plot for quite some time throughout the movie too. It's oh man, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and then this, almost every line out of Val Kilmer's mouth is just so funny.
It's smart aleck. It's golden. And I love too that they take the time to make fun of Hollywood from time to time as well, because that's part of what that's part of the background behind this movie is.
There's a
not
lot
just
more.
how
There's a lot more to
Hollywood
it.
is, but how ridiculous Hollywood is.
There's commentary on itself as a movie and how it is doing movie things. How they discuss this, made up mystery book, detective book that they talk about a lot in the movie. This book series that always has like certain things happen, and all those things end up happening in the movie.
Yeah, and that's I mean, like, even I'm not going to give away the end, but at the end, so RDJ is he's also our narrator, and he even describes himself as the narrator, and he's kind of telling the story, and then he fades off more into the background, but then kind of picks it back up towards the epilogue, and whenever he does, they kind of make fun of a Hollywood thing, and they do it really blatantly, like right in your face. It's like, you'll notice when you see Elvis, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's as much as I'll try to give away there, but I just enjoy how and it wasn't silly, it was still a good kind of mystery action movie that's kind of a comedy. And then I just realized when we were watching that trailer that it was made by the same people that created Lethal Weapon. And you're like, that makes sense, right? Because that's exactly, Lethal Weapon was a comedy that was an action movie about this old black detective and the crazy white guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of makes sense because it's got a little Lethal Weapon to it, but not much. But it the concept of how you make this kind of action mystery, thing funny, it works. It really works.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, surrounded by the interaction between RDJ and Val Kilmer, which I don't know, like they must have like screen tested together, and someone was just like, "Bong, this is amazing the way they interact with each other," because it's just
because just think about it. Like, you can definitely see RDJ now, especially when he's turned his career into, being easy to cast in this role.
Oh yeah. In this role, he is Tony Stark just without the money and brains.
Right.
But the same attitude.
It's like Tony Stark's idiot brother, right? But I think the genius was no way you think of Val Kilmer for Gay Perry.
For Gay Perry, yeah.
I mean, if you're just reading that character, you'd have to go way down the list before you'd be like, well, what about Val Kilmer? No, he's big and he's gotten heavy and he's kind of a dick. But then it was like, but like you said, whether they put them in a room together and started bouncing things off of each other, or if maybe they had the same agent and it was kind of a package deal and they were really trying to force Val Kilmer on somebody, but apparently it worked, and it was screen gold. And I'm actually kind of sad that we haven't seen Val Kilmer and RDJ on screen together since then, because I think they really work well together. But then it would be fun to know how well they got along on set. You know?
And they sure make fun of LA a lot, which I love.
A lot.
I love
and Hollywood.
Yeah, I love when he meets the chick at the party at the beginning. And he's like,
yes.
Oh man, I froze again. What do you do? And she's like, I've done a little acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how he, it's got a little bit of a swingers thing to it too, where, like they go to he keeps going to these places and he's meeting these beautiful women. And I like the interaction he has with one of them where he's like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, good, how are you doing? And he's like, she's like, what do you do? And he tells her, and she's like, all right. And she goes to walk away and he goes, that's it, huh? And she's like, yep.
Straight up.
That's some transactional shit right there. It's like, I think you're interesting. I do not. All right, cool. Thanks.
I think my favorite line in the whole movie, and this is saying a lot because I love so many lines in this movie.
There's a list.
But it's when RDJ is like, it's like someone took the United States by the East Coast and shook it, and all the normal girls managed to hang on.
And all the goofy fuckers fell to the West Coast. That's hilarious. That's a good one.
Because it's after that whole monologue where he's like, you take a dude who sleeps with 100 women a year, go back into his childhood, not much there. But you take any of these women who sleeps with 100 guys. Oh, my dad hit me and my uncle put his pee-pee in my...
Oh, man.
It's just so bad, especially considering the person he's ranting to literally had a dad who was abusive.
Yes. Like, are you mocking me, you idiot? And there is a lot of that idiot stuff. There's RDJ does not necessarily get treated well. Nobody in this movie treats him either well or with respect, but it's gold. So I don't think there's any more to say about it, especially since we have viewers that haven't seen it. So other than to say, if you've not taken the time to watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you can watch it on Amazon for $3.99, and it is worth every penny.
Absolutely. Products did say he was gonna look through our list. I sent him our website to see if maybe there's another movie we've done previously that he has seen that we could talk about together.
Sure.
So I don't know where you are on that, if you were able to see that list or not, but we're totally down for that too. Especially if you're gonna go watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang sometime in the next week, because it's so good.
Hey, yeah!
We don't have to talk about it a lot. It's not one of these profound movies that are.
No, I think we've touched the biggest pieces that are absolutely necessary, which is one, I'm thankful to the creators of this movie for kickstarting RDJ's career off again. And then I'm too very thankful that it's just, and again, what was it, 2004, 3?
5.
I
think.
So, I mean, it's a 15-year-old movie, but it's a 15-year-old movie that the only thing in this movie that dates it at all, literally, is the type of cell phones that they use constantly in this movie. They're obviously 15-year-old cell phones. And otherwise, this movie stands up perfectly well today. You can release it in theaters today if you figured out how to CG in an iPhone instead of a flip phone. It would be perfect,
Right.
And it'd be just as funny too. And
Oh yeah,
I
and
don't-
their cell phones don't even bother me because it's not like their lives would be literally any different if they didn't have
No,
if
I
they
mean
had a
they did.
smartphone over a cell phone. So
Sure, yeah, that would be the thing. Oh man, that
I
was
do want
fun.
to talk about Michelle Monaghan is so hot.
And they do. Let's be honest. They do a really nice job of putting her in costumes and different situations and scenes that. Which is funny because she's definitely not a Hollywood bombshell. This is
Right.
she's not Angelina Jolie, or we can go down the list of people that just you're like, oh crap. But they did such a nice job of making her seem sultry and just and sexy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. That yeah, you definitely notice her. She's not and she's definitely not hard on the eyes.
Right. There's this weird thing where there's probably a lot of guys who feel like they've known girls like this who it feels like they sleep with anybody except for you.
Mm. Especially if you were even reasonably nerdy or a nice guy. If you were young, you've played that role for sure. What was the guy's name that
Oh,
I
so
don't
like
give it away?
Chit Chutney or something like that.
Chutney or something like.
His best friend who she agreed not to sleep with to make for his sake for Robert Downey Jr.'s sake she
Yeah,
wouldn't
there was
sleep
the
she
one
she
the
wouldn't
one guy in
she
this
wouldn't sleep
small
with
town in
him or
Indiana.
his best friend. It
Yeah,
was like this deal.
yeah.
And then
I'm not going to sleep with you, and I'll do you a favor. I won't sleep with your best friend. All right, thanks. That's something.
right, like that's exactly what.
Fuck you, and fuck me, and fuck everybody.
She did.
Yeah, and then that part where she confesses, "I slept with him," and he just flips
And,
out.
and he's this close to sealing the deal, and then next thing you know, she's out on the street. But we're giving away too much,
Yeah.
so I'm going to move on.
I found the ass end!
I have no idea why that was relevant, but anyways.
Oh man,
So
I do need to catch up with making sure we have clips from all the movies we've seen on our
let's hit the list and put in our grades and figure out what you want to do for next week.
This is an 81 Honda. How dare you?
All right. Here we go.
The build up.
Okay, I guess we're starting with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
Who's the first? Joseph's the first rating.
Oh, that's definitely 2 thumbs up. That's too easy. We still have to come up with a better rating system.
Truth.
2 thumbs is, I mean, because most of the ones we watch are fun enough that it's hard to just do 1 thumb. But that one's definitely a 2 thumbs up for me.
Agreed. I would put it
As is
on a
Beetlejuice.
comedy
Beetlejuice
list.
is easily a 2 thumbs up. That's as far as I'm concerned, it's a classic. It's hard to not give them 2 thumbs up whenever you can't sit here and be like, well, here's how you could have fixed that movie.
Right.
Because neither one of these movies do I think I have an answer of how you could have made it better, even in retrospect. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I will say I felt like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It lost by the end of it had lost some of its charm, I guess you could say. Where you have less narration by RDJ and it just kind of goes into the story.
Yeah.
Which I think I appreciated more 10 years ago when I first saw it. But this time watching it through, I was like, give me more RDJ and sarcastic Val Kilmer.
which would have been fun, but it's like, again, if they don't kind of focus on the story and how the bad guys involved and all the twists and how it all ties together, it'd have to be a 2.5 hour movie to keep going at the pace that it was for the first 45 minutes. First 45 minutes, we weren't getting anywhere, but we were enjoying the shit out of it, right?
Right.
And then the second 45 minutes, yeah, you lose a little bit of the fun portion of it, but you get the rest of the story that's kind of necessary before you ever put a bow on it at the end.
Right. Oh, I did want to tell you. So how I saw it was my freshman year of college. I was living in the dorms, and so this was in '06. So I guess it probably just like got released on video or something like that. And all the dorms had cable.
Okay.
It was like basic cable, but there was like a Texas Tech movie network, like a single channel that just constantly played movies on like a rotating monthly basis.
That's cool.
And it was on that channel. They had Kiss Kiss
No
Bang
kidding.
Bang
So
Bang.
you
And
literally
so
just stumbled upon it because it happened to be on the free cable
right.
thing.
And then, and then it was like, it was played relatively regularly for like that month on the movie channel. And so I remember I watched it so many times trying to like, you'd like wait for it to come out. You'd be like, dude, you gotta come over and watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. This thing is hilarious.
I think if I don't recall as vividly how I found it, but I think I literally just kind of stumbled upon it on a cable channel, probably like 2010 or 2008 or something like that when it hit HBO or Showtime or something that I happened to have, and I just stumbled across it on like a weekend when I was staying in, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is funny!"
Right.
And and of course, being I was a child of the '80s and the early '90s, so Val Kilmer and RDJ both, were deeply rooted in my childhood, from Top Gun and from all of RDJ's messes early in his life, but especially Less Than Zero, which if you've never seen that, that's a great one. So I was sucked in by the two stars, and then was you know very pleasantly surprised that it turned out to be a good movie.
I think that's fair.
Especially back then, like you didn't have necessarily high hopes for anything that had those two in it, other than the fact that you're like, I've always loved them and hope that they could do something well.
Right. Like I like most Val Kilmer movies, and I like,
Yeah.
and I like RDJ. I wouldn't say I like most of his movies. He was a goof.
He's done a lot of turds.
Yeah, but I like him, and
For sure.
I'm obviously very happy with where his career went after this movie. So
No doubt.
all right, I guess we need to figure out what we're gonna do next week.
Next week's a little funny, and I apologize to any listeners that we still have that we have to go through some of this housekeeping stuff. But I'm out Monday through Wednesday of next week, so if you want, we need to do a Thursday if that's all possible.
Okay, that should be fun.
Cool. All right.
So Thursday.
You want to do a 1-fer or a 2-fer again? It depends on what we pick.
6th. Yeah, I think it'll depend. Well, you're also going on vacation, so maybe we should just do a 1-fer.
Whatever.
Okay. So
I can watch 2 movies this Saturday if need be. Let's see what comes up on the old. We need a wheel, like a.
Yeah, I told you I need to make a thing so that we can have it randomly select a movie for us.
I'm sure you could come up with a digital easier than me going in the garage and building an actual wheel.
Oh, Product said he's trying to remember some movies he's watched. Are you saying some movies? Well, you can also just watch a new one with us if you want, and join us next Thursday to discuss a movie that we have up here as well that needs to be
8 p.m.
watched.
Central.
Anything here, Products? Here's an interesting question: is there anything on this list right here that's on the screen that maybe you haven't seen that you've heard good things about or something like that? That maybe you'd like to see. So that would be cool.
I can't even see this.
Man, why can't you just full screen my camera?
Easy, big dog. Don't get all twisted on me now.
Maybe you need to get some glasses like me.
I do, but I'm not trying to wear them right now. Marshall Mathers. I don't know how to make you. How do I make your full screen?
Let's see.
That's chat or pin video. Chat or Pin Video. No.
It's probably not chat. Pin video doesn't seem right.
Oh, it actually does. That Pin Video takes it full screen and then takes the picture in picture and makes it really small. Okay, now I can kind of read this fuzzy shit. Oh, that Time to Kill is awesome.
Products, where are you from? He said he hasn't seen these movies.
Oh, really?
If you don't mind me asking.
Axton.
All right. So if that's the case, he's never seen any of these movies. So I wonder if there'd be a good one in here for us to show. Products, you haven't seen Interstellar? That might be a good one. Do you like sci-fi?
Silence Alarm. Yeah, I haven't. What was the one that we were talking about watching? The Brad Pitt science movie.
Ad Astra.
Yeah, is that on our list?
From Africa, dude, that's awesome.
He's from Africa?
Yeah, man.
That's so cool.
That is super cool.
I was thinking he's gonna be like Tulsa. I mean, think about it. That's one of the coolest. I mean, think about how cool the internet is. That we have a guy that we're interacting with from Africa, and Marshall's in Lubbock, Texas, for crying out loud, and I'm in Oklahoma City. I mean, that's the World Wide Web right there, man. That's awesome.
That is awesome. What time is it?
So glad to have him on.
Morocco, dude.
Oh, I love. I used to have a really. I had a friend in Dallas that was from Morocco. We used to play Tarnib together and smoke hookah. He was really, really cool guy.
I thought you were about to say, I love Morocco. I'm like, dude, how many times
I've
have you
never
been
been to
in
Morocco.
Morocco?
I barely know Moroccans. I just happen to have a really good friend from Morocco that I played cards with and smoked hookah with when I lived in Dallas. All right, so
let's see.
Spin the wheel, my friend.
Africa. I wonder if I can. I'm gonna nerd out real quick.
Speaking of Africa, he would have to be a Charlize Theron fan as well, right? She's African. She's South African.
That's I just love.
It's a stretch.
How can I bring this back to Charlize?
That's the thing. I'm just surprised you haven't done it with Michael Fassbender lately. We haven't. Where's your lust button for Fassbender? Too much Monahan got you distracted from the Fassbender.
Probably. She's doing it for me. Select range random.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Hey, man.
This is part of our podcast. You're aware of that, right? You going to
hey, Pridox is a fan, okay?
Spreadsheets for dummies.
All right. Pridox, don't pretend like you could see the numbers, but pick a number between 2 and 23.
Oh, pick 19. Pick 19.
The Snowman? You think we should do our Michael Fassbender movie? I'm down for that.
And it's so good.
All right, dude. Let's do that. We'll do the Snowman.
Do the Snowman. I will gladly watch that again. That's a good movie.
All right.
What is his comment down there?
Oh, he said 18. Which one's 18? Argo. That's a good one too.
I have no idea what Argo is about.
Argo's the one with it's got Ben Affleck in it and he directed it, but it's based on a true story. It's amazing. I don't want to tell you any more because it's amazing.
Can we do okay, you know what? Argo you've seen. Snowman I've seen.
And then I can talk about Snowman and you can talk about Argo.
Do it.
Okay.
We'll do them both.
I like
one way or another, we'll get those in the next 7 days. Even if I'm watching them both Thursday while I'm at work. Don't tell my boss.
Likewise. It was in the background. It's like listening to music.
Except my eyes are staring at the screen the whole time. I'm not doing anything else. Like people knock on the door, you're like, go away, come back in 37 minutes.
I'm baiting.
You know I'm not watching porn because nobody needs 37 minutes. Get to a flick here. It's homework, damn it. Someday this thing's gonna pay the bills. That's not true. That's not true. We'll never sell out. We'll never sell out, Pride Dog. Did I say that right? Is it Pride Dog? What's your name?
Pridox. It's got an X at the end.
Sorry.
We're not professionals.
Hence the sign.
All right, so let's see. Argo and the Snowman.
Argo and the Snowman. I'm excited.
That sounds like a TV show or something.
Right.
A podcast. Argo
like
and the
Smokey,
Snowman.
like Smokey and the Bandit. Instead, it's Argo and the Snowman.
I'm Argo and the
I am
Snowman.
the Snowman, and it's 8 o'clock. Time to get up and go to work. We could almost be that wacky, annoying morning radio show, except for the fact that we can only probably do it for about 3 weeks before we get like, this shit's too early, man.
It's
and
way too early. I don't know if I could even last 3
3
weeks.
hours. I can't talk for 3 hours every day, especially not 6 a.m.
Agreed.
I've always been impressed by those guys that like do the morning radio show from 6 to 9, Monday, Friday, 52 weeks a year.
I know you don't realize it. I think because I used to listen to the Kid Craddock in the morning show at time.
Yeah.
And they talk about sometimes they talk about what they have to do. And so like they all have like little bits that they do as well. And so like they're doing that on this like after hours of the show, obviously, where they're like interviewing people or they're setting something up to play on the show. Then they're also getting there super early to get set up. And then they're also like part of the production team. So they like pull clips out, make commercials and do their, promos and stuff. And you're like, oh, wow. So they have,
and
they have
one
to
of the
work.
producers has to be getting on the phone, setting up all the interviews for the next.
Like, they have to
if you
work.
think about all the 15 people that call in, they didn't just randomly call in. They were told to call in at a certain time.
And so like they work at least a full day, but their day starts at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, whoa.
Oh, and then if they're popular like the Kid Craddock show, then on the weekends when you would think they were off, they've got to go do these personality things. They've got to go to the concert sites and all these. Here we are at the new Mercedes dealership. I got to sit out here and glad hand people for 3 hours.
Goodness, Pridox, what are you?
Sweet Mary Jane.
Just talking about 3 a.m.
Are you high right now?
Dude. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
What are you putting in that hookah?
Pridox, you're an animal.
Animal. I love it. Thank you.
We'll be back next week, Thursday. He's doing the lull face for sure. We'll be back next week at the same time, which I guess is 2 a.m. your time. Feel free to join us or sleep. We won't hold it against you. I'll eventually get some more of these. I'm a little behind on my YouTube uploads. I know. But I plan I'll probably be able to get our last 2 up tonight because I only like log in and do this stuff tonight. And then you've already seen this episode, so I don't have to get that one up anytime soon. I can't say
last week's episode was worth watching though. I do think that was one of our better ones. We did the Joker last week and
we did do a good job with that one.
Please don't watch it if you
haven't
seen the Joker and you want to watch the Joker. Wait until after you've watched it before you watch our documentary podcast, whatever.
Review show, variety show.
Because I'd feel really bad. I think we would give up way too much.
Right. But between now and next Thursday, we are definitely going to be watching The Snowman and Argo, which I can recommend Argo as being a great movie, and Joseph can recommend The Snowman as being a great movie, It also has Michael
If you don't like the
Fassbender, who's
Sandman,
like
it's not my
my,
fault because
it also has Michael Fassbender, who's like my man crush, which is why it's on here. So that's where we're at. And I think with that, Pridox, it's been a ton of fun having you interacting with us. I've been loving it. I do got to ask though, Joseph,
sure,
when you do it full screen, can you see that he's typing? Here, let me do a test.
I can. It's a little fuzzy. I can see that he's typing, but I can't quite read it very well. But
Gotcha.
that's
I might be able to make the text bigger.
I may have to modify my setup here and get some bigger. I've been running just off of the laptop for quite a while, so I probably need to start using a secondary screen for when we're doing this. Be a little more professional.
I can also make the text bigger. So.
That an old man.
And then so I think with that Pridox.
Well. Bye.